This is Pastor Stuart Washington, Real Life Ministries.
Hello, and this is Pastor Ed Anderson of the Awakening Alliance.
Hey, Pastor Ed. We've been blessed lately. God has given us a word at the ministry over at Real Life, man. And we've been dealing with respecting the enemy, recognizing him, and resisting him.
Wow.
And it's been very powerful, I mean, because he is a worthy adversary.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says that broad is the way and wide, that leads to destruction. And many are going to be on that path. Narrow, of course, we know is the way. And few are going to be on the path to heaven. The enemy, he's a worthy adversary. The Bible also says that hell has engulfed herself. So he knows what he's doing. We also have to recognize him, not only outwardly, but inwardly when he's using us, A lot of times we're on guard from people, but we don't realize when we're being used, like Peter, we have that Peter syndrome, and resisting him, and a lot of times, a lot of people want to rebuke and all that and do all these emotional jargonings and all. The Bible says just resist him and he'll flee from you.
Come on, that's so good, Pastor. That is so very good. If I can just be fleshly for a hot second, or carnal, if you will, sometimes I be wanting to shake the devil but I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. It's so important, because I think that's part of the issue sometimes with people when they're going through a particular situation or dealing with something. They don't respect who he is. They don't respect the authority that he has in this realm, and when we allow him to have that authority. So that's so very key. That's so very important. So I agree with you. And so how's that been for you guys so far? How have the people been really, really receptive to what you've been teaching about that?
Actually, they have. We actually got, me and my wife got a text from one of the members, and she was kind of going through with a person, and it was getting to her. And before I could, I was on the sales call, and I noticed my wife hit her with, remember, respect, recognize and resist. And just to see my wife, you know what I mean, putting out what we just shared Sunday, it really blessed me. And the young lady, she received it, you know what I mean, because it brought back to her attention. And then she began to, put text back information on how she, I recognize it.
That's so
you know
good.
what I mean? I reckon it is the enemy,
That's so good.
because, Pastor, we are being taught, because we do have a healthy theology, and we know that it's not flesh and blood that we're battling with. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's the enemy behind the scenes using that person. And if we get in the flesh, and because the Bible says pray for those that, persecute you.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to pray for them. We're saved, and, we know that they can't touch God's anointed. So we can't get in the flesh and let the devil get a twofer. You know what I mean? We got to pray, God, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Save their soul. The enemy is using them. You must have a plan for me in their life, the way they're continually coming against me. So I can't get in the flesh and let, the work of God get destroyed.
That's so good. That's so important. And I know that we've had previous conversations, Pastor, and you told me that a lot of the people in your church, a good number, are the unchurched. So practically speaking, how are you able to bring that to them at a level where they can understand and receive it? Because I know that's something that's very important to you, and I know that's something that you desire. So what's the practical application of what you're in?
Well, we took and simplified things, man, and I give God the glory for it. My dad's a psychotherapist, psychologist, so he taught me how to use my mind.
Come on.
And I realized that we're taking theology and putting it in the psychology, and we simplified it, because the Bible says this is the day that the Lord have made. This is a 24-hour period. He didn't say this is the week. This is the day. So we take it one day at a time, and then we have this perspective that we live by, that God never goes to sleep and nothing slips past his throne.
Come on.
We know that from the book of Job. So whatever I wake up and I face on a day-to-day basis, God has allowed that to happen.
Okay.
So if he allowed that to happen, he's instructed me. I should be able to respond his way.
So
up until that point, he's educated me. So a teacher never gave us a test when they didn't train us. So if it's a test, I should be able to pass it.
Yes, sir.
He's never allowing anything to come my way to take me away from him.
That's so good. But you know what? That is a real life situation.
Yes, it is.
You're listening to the Real Life podcast.